We have a lot of fathers in the Islamic community, but we have a few leaders to their children. One needs to understand that it's not the school or the sheikh that's going to raise your child, but that job is actually yours. There's a proverb in Arabic that says, فاقد الشيء فاقد الشيء لا يعطي, that the one who doesn't possess something, he is not able to give something. Now, what do I mean by all of this? I have noticed across the years, being a father of a son and a few children, but in specific my son, I have, obviously I'm a very busy person, and many times I put more emphasis on my goals and my growth, and that takes time away from me being able to teach my son or my children the actual things that I want them to learn. What I have been analyzing through the years is that when I send my son to a good madrasa or to a good sheikh or to whatever it might be, he just ends up being another student. And the thing is, perhaps there's something related to my personality, but it really itches me. Lost potential really makes me uncomfortable, especially in my circle and my loved ones, when I see how much they could accomplish, but they are not because of the system they are in or whatever it might be. And so I've seen that sometimes I send my children to certain schools and then I get involved. And so I want the WhatsApp of the teacher, let's say Quran, for example. And then perhaps I ask different questions than other parents, right? Because obviously I am an educator myself. I am a teacher myself. I am a systems thinking person. I am very analytical. I think of results, not just learning. But, if, I want to see what is my son supposed to learn in 6 months? And then I start thinking, okay, can he do it in 2 months to not waste time? And so I started asking the teachers of these schools that my children go to deeper questions, but they fail at giving me details. And it makes me anxious. And perhaps the teacher doesn't realize that I'm a teacher myself as well. Or perhaps they don't, they perhaps they need development in their skill of teaching. And all of this made me realize that if you, as a father, don't have the skill itself, or at least knowledge about it, and your son cannot talk to you about it, you are basically restricting your children's potential. What I mean by this is that if you're not able to talk to the sheikh about, the hifd, the new hifd, and the old hifd, and the hifd that's or the muraja'a, the revision from what's past, and you don't understand even what happens when you forget something, and you don't understand, for example, how long would it take for somebody who haven't read a particular portion of the Quran for 6 months to get it back. And if you're not able to get into these details, it's going to be very hard for you as a parent when the child comes back home to just supervise and ask him and test him, and even the child might be excited about a new finding in this particular process of, in this case, memorization of the Quran, but he's not able to connect with you, and you just tell him, yeah, go and revise. You cannot check if he's actually revising. You cannot check if, what level he is at. You cannot check, the expectations of him completing this particular piece of memorization, and how long would it take him by default. All of these to say that many times it's not about seeking knowledge yourself. Perhaps, many of us realize the importance of seeking knowledge. You're already an adult. You already have responsibilities. You already work. You already have very little time for you to learn, or at least that's what you think. And so you say, "Khalas, I'm just going to put my children in good schools, and they are going to be the scholars, and not me because it's late for me." The thing is that if you really care about your children and their potential, you yourself, you will learn, and you will start learning. And again, you don't have to go into depths of becoming a scholar in that particular field. Let's say, it could be Quran, it could be starting with Arabic, obviously, it could be whatever it might be. But at least you will have gone over the matan, over the principal book. So you understand the principles, you understand how it works. The moral of the story is that if you want your children to be their best potential, you have to learn yourself. Your level of knowledge about a particular topic will allow you to guide your children and advise them and supervise better than if you just completely trust another teacher or another human being to raise your children. They're not gonna care as much as you would care. Even if it's a small portion, you should set a time in a day for you to start learning. It's not about completely freeing up your time, but it's about how can I prioritize my seeking of knowledge and how can I adapt it or embed it into my day-to-day routines. And remember that the Sahaba, they didn't stop all their responsibilities to be next to the Prophet ﷺ. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, he was trading and doing business while the Prophet ﷺ was alive. Somebody might think, well, if the Prophet ﷺ was alive, I would spend my whole day seeking knowledge with him. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu anhu, he was still trading, doing business, and at the same time seeking knowledge. So seeking knowledge is something that you need to adapt within the chaos of your lifestyle. Now, as always, if you're interested in learning the Arabic language, click the first link in the description or the first link in the first comment for you to start learning the Arabic language and adapt it and embed it within your chaotic lifestyle and be able to still progress with the responsibilities that you have. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.